Hello, my sweet friends, and welcome to Kinda Shabby. My name is Becky, and I am so glad you've stopped by. Today we're going to be doing several budget-friendly Christmas crafts that will include some trash to treasure. We'll also take printable vintage Christmas sheet music and these iron-on transfer sheets to create a gorgeous Christmas pillow. Then we'll assemble a sweet little hot cocoa bar, perfect for your Christmas entertaining. Well, I've got lots of fun in store for you today, so let's get these projects started. For our first Trash to Treasure project, we are going to be taking these gorgeous little bun feet that came off one of my old sofas, and yes, we're going to be turning this into Christmas decor. Now the bottom of this has this little tab on here. That's just to keep it from scratching your floor. And I found if I took my little snippers here, I could grab onto it and just slowly work that out. Next, I'll be using the Waverly Chalk Paint in the color Plaster. It's just such a gorgeous, soft color. And I pick up my Waverly paint at Walmart. And then this is just a foam block. And I'm going to stick these in here to help hold them in place while I paint them. Then once they've dried here, I'll turn them over and paint this underside. I did give them a good cleaning before I started painting them, but I didn't sand them. Chalk paint really sticks to your wood very well. So now that our little bun feet are dry, we can go ahead and begin decorating these. You could remove this screw. Potted plant would be cute if you sat it on top of that. With the screw removed, you could set it this way. Add a cute little decorative plate and a Christmas tree with some little foliage there. Something like that would be cute as well. But I'm going to be making ornaments out of these because surprisingly they're really just not that heavy. And you could also do something similar with these little finials. I see them when I'm out and about thrifting quite regularly. So if you wanted to make something on a smaller scale, that would be such a cute little ornament. I'm only going to be decorating one of these right now just to save some time in our video. I've pulled out a couple of different little Christmas foliage things that I like, and I've settled on this gorgeous dusty rosy pink color. And I also like this beautiful lace as well. And all of these items here I have picked up from Hobby Lobby. I'm going to start first by gluing this onto the bottom just to kind of accent that and make it look a little less furniture foot. And I'm going to be using my hot glue, so I'm going to just get it started. And I want that edge of my lace to extend past the bottom here. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue all of that down all the way around the base of my little bun foot. And to keep it from rolling away from me while I'm working on it, and to keep it upright, I'm just going to set it inside of a wide mouth mason jar. I want to use this lace as my hanger, so I'm just going to glue down a little bit here and on the other side of my little thread there, just like that. I'm going to glue up the side of the threads just to help cover those up. And then I'm going to come over here and do the same thing to this side. And then you can see that that actually provides a lot of good stability to hang our beautiful little ornament. This is actually a garland, so I'm just going to clip off some of these to use on my ornament here. But before I start gluing anything down, I just kind of want to place it around just to see what that's going to look like. I think that's going to be so pretty. So now I'm just going to take a few minutes to just go in and start gluing everything down where I like it. And then I'm just going to cut off some single leaves here and just tuck them in just where I think it needs just a little more fullness. Well, I know this thing is quite large, but I just love that shabby chic bling. Oh my goodness. I can't wait to get that on my tree. I love it. Well, let's go ahead and move on to our next project. And for our next Trash to Treasure, we're going to be taking this cereal box here and we're going to make some tags and ornaments. And I just always begin by just cutting off all of these ragged edges here. That way I'm left with a good solid base to start my project. Next, we'll cut off our flaps and then we'll cut these individual pieces here as well. Now, these two punches right here that I picked up from Hobby Lobby are my favorites to use to make gift tags and to make ornaments. These flaps make a perfect size for a gift tag. And it cuts the top for you just like that. And your side panel will also make a good tag as well. And then you'll just cut this off right here because you won't need that. And then this, you can see it is quite large. It's a 3.5 inch circle. And your large pieces here will make great bases for an ornament. And I'm gonna have to stand up to push this down. That is just so cute. We're also going to be covering the back of these as well. So I want this on the back of my ornaments. And then for my gift tags, I just thought this is so cute. Almost looks like a candy cane. I love that. So for my ornaments, I'm just going to put my paper inside my punch and cut those out. And then we're going to take those cut out shapes, match up the edges, and use our Elmer's glue to glue them down. And I'm going to use my craft mat here so I don't get glue everywhere. And I just squeeze out a little bit of the Elmer's. And we're going to smear that around. Get the edges really well. And then we're going to match up our edges and glue those together. And you could literally just punch a hole in that, write someone's name on there, and that would be a great gift tag as well. Then we're going to wipe up our glue and dry off our mat because we're going to do our tags a little differently. I'm going to turn my paper over and we are going to apply the glue, but we're going to put it on the paper just like this. And then we're going to do the same thing for all of our remaining pieces. And with all of our tag shapes glued down, I'm going to turn it over and just really make sure that the glue is really on all of the edges of our little tag shapes. And now we can cut out all of our little tag shapes here. Then I take my regular hole punch here, and I'm going to do that for the rest of my little tags here. Now you could put scrapbooking paper on both sides of these, but I'm going to come back with a little bit more of our plaster here, just a little bit of dry brushing to these pieces of cardboard. It almost really looks like that we just took a piece of wood and sanded and distressed it. I really like that. And I'm just going to dry brush some more color on to each one of my tags here as well. So we're going to let all of our pieces dry and then we're going to come back and get to the fun part, which is decorating. Anytime I decoupage with napkins and I remove the extra ply from those napkins, I always save that because it is excellent to print your own designs on when you want to decoupage as well. So I take that paper and I tape it down to a piece of cardstock and I tape it on the very edge and I trim off the excess from around this paper. Then I come back and tape down that last corner. And then I'm just going to send this through my printer, and it is just a regular Epson inkjet printer. So I just have an assortment of beautiful images here that I've printed myself. I found every single one of these on Pinterest just by searching shabby chic Christmas printables. And I've cut it out a little larger just to give me some wiggle room. And now I'm going to take some matte Mod Podge, and that's what we're going to use to apply this to our little tag. And I like to work in sections, so I'm going to fold this section back, apply my Mod Podge, and then I'm going to start in the middle and just pounce it and work my way down, smoothing out any wrinkles. And then I'm going to pull this back. Apply Mod Podge to this side, and then I can work my way up doing the same thing this way. And then once this dries, we'll come back and remove all of this excess from the edges. So I have my papers and images all put on here, and we're going to add some embellishments in just a moment. But I wanted to show you, once it dries, I take a fingernail file and just go over the edges, and it removes all of that excess paper. But you want to make sure that your Mod Podge is dry before you start doing that. And on my tags where I cut the scalloped edges, I cut out a circle and then just Mod Podged on there. And those just turned out all so cute. So I'm going to clean up my Mod Podge mess, and then we're going to go ahead and get some embellishments on all of our little tags. And before I start embellishing them, I do take my stamps and I stamp on to and from. That way I can lay them flat, because once I start gluing things on the front, I won't be able to do this. These are my more woodland looking tags, so I'll be using this over here, this greenery, to put on them. For my more shabby chic Victorian looking tags, I'll be using some laces and some little flowers, buttons, maybe some pom-poms. I don't know. I'll just see where the creativity takes me. So just a little bit of lace and a little flower there. That's so cute. And I'm thinking pom-poms around this one. And for this one, I added some lace here and here. I put a little juniper greenery sprig and a little button, and I thought that looked so cute. And for my little shabby chic tags, I just used torn strips of flour sack cloth, and that's what I'm going to use when I actually tie them onto the gifts. And for our more woodland looking tags, I finished each of those off with strips of ticking fabric that I had left from last week's video. I have these little peel and stick gems that I picked up from Dollar Tree. So I'll put that around the edge on that, a little greenery and a tiny little pine cone. More of those little gems, a couple of little mistletoe leaves, and some little red berries and a piece of lace over that to cover up my glue. And more of those little stick-on gems for ornaments on the tree, some greenery, and another little tiny pine cone. You can keep these as simple or as elaborate as you would like. Just adding just a couple of touches though really just kicks it up a notch. And all of this was just made from some cereal boxes and some printables. I love how these turned out. Well, now let's move on to our next project. For my pillow, I have just stitched a 16 by 16 square out of some canvas fabric that I had that I picked up from Hobby Lobby, and I am going to be ironing on this transfer. Now it is in reverse, so when we put it down and pull the backer off, it will actually show up the right way. And I like to use the Avery. This one is for light fabrics, and this one is also for an inkjet printer. So before you purchase these, make sure that whatever you're buying is going to fit the requirements of the fabric that you are going to be using, and also your printer type as well. Before I iron this down, I am going to come back and I'm going to cut around all of this excess white that I don't want on my pillow that is not part of the actual design. I also rounded the edges a little bit because if you have sharp corners, that's where that design kind of wants to peel up. I have preheated my iron according to the directions, and you will have this sheet in your package as well. So now I'm going to center my design on my pillow, and I like to put my design a little higher instead of evenly in the middle, because when it sits down on the sofa, you don't want to lose that design at the bottom. And now with my iron set to the appropriate temperature and no steam, I'm going to begin ironing, but I'm also going to set a timer because I'm using the entire sheet. I need to iron this for a full 3 minutes. And now that I've ironed it for the appropriate amount of time, I'm going to move it down a little bit. This area is still really hot. So now I'm going to let this cool for 3 minutes. And now that it is cooled, I'm going to begin up at the top here and start pulling away the paper from the design. And if at any time the design starts lifting up, I'll just put the paper back down and iron it again. And so this is what I have as I begin peeling that paper away. Oh my goodness, I just love that vintagey vibe. Oh, love that. And now I'm going to put all the rest of this away and we're going to get some embellishments on our pillow. And I love this sweet little ribbon that I picked up from Hobby Lobby, and I'm going to be gluing it all around the outside of my little sheet music here, and I'm just going to use hot glue to do that. And you can see how it's just right outside the edge there, and I'm going to do the same all the way around my design. I think that looks really cute. Well, now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get a pillow form in here. And I thought it looked a little plain after I got my pillow in there. So even though this is quite large, I just love these little book page poinsettias, and I just put that on there. I think that looks so cute and kind of also gives it a little vintagey Christmas vibe as well. And I will have a tutorial coming up in another video on these beautiful little poinsettias. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to our cocoa bar. And now for our little cocoa bar, I want a sign. And I have taken one of my former projects that I've done, and I just turned it over because I can reuse this piece of wood, and I painted it in the Waverly Chalk Paint color ink. And it is just a nice matte black color that actually looks like a chalkboard. I have my cozy stamp by Iron Orchid Designs, as well as my large alphabet here, and this is in typesetting. I realize for some people these stamps are not an affordable option, so let me show you what else you can do. You have these peel and stick letters that you can pick up from Dollar Tree. Those are an excellent option for your words. And I got this cute little stencil at Hobby Lobby, and it's got the little coffee mug and the little steam coming up there, and that would be cute on your board as well. Before I start with any of the graphics, I want to make sure that I get the placement of my words correct. So I'm going to start with the words cocoa bar. This is the side that you would put your ink on, and this is the kind of sticky side. So I'm going to lay it ink side down so I can line up my letters first before I actually put them down on there with my paint. And I'm going to use the letter G as a placer for my other C. I'm going to use the letter Q as a placer for my other O. Now I'm going to move the G and put that C in there and put the O in there. So then that way I know that I'm going to have enough room for the C and the O at the front of the word. And then I'm going to take my thin mount, and it has this nice grid on it. That way I know my letters have lined up perfectly. So I'm going to take the top edge and the side edge and line that up. I can't find my white ink, so I'm going to be using paint instead. I have another thin sheet, and I'm going to add a line of paint to that, run my brayer in that to get paint on my brayer, and I just gently go over the top of the letters, bring my board back in, and place it down. That's very cute, and it gives the appearance of a chalkboard. Even though I am going to use these again, I don't want the paint to dry on my letters, so I'm going to wipe that paint off and then take a paper towel and dry that off as well. I have let these letters dry for a few minutes. I don't want to come up against them again and risk smearing what I've already done here. So now I can remove the A, and I haven't put any paint on there yet. I'm just mainly going to see how it's going to look. I'm going to do the same thing. Add a little bit of paint to my thin set, roll over it with my brayer, put paint on top of these letters. I'm going to wipe that excess paint off right there. Line it up and press it down. These turned out a little lighter than these two. If I wanted to, I could go back and darken that up, but again, I like that almost chalkboard look, that it actually looks like I've done this with chalk. So now, while this is drying, I'm going to go clean everything off, and then we'll come back and put the word bar on here. I like this cute little mug, so I laid that out to make sure I was going to have enough room. And they also have this cute little, it actually looks like whipped cream. So I just want to make sure before I put my words down that I'm going to have enough room for the parts of the design that I want. So I'm going to move my cup out of the way. I'm going to bring in my gridded thin mount. Again, I'm going to lay it along the top edge and the side edge here. And then when I press over it like that, it picks the letters up for me. Bring in my acrylic sheet, put some paint on that. Roll my brayer in the paint. Roll this over our letters. Line this up again and press it down. I like that. And again, while I am allowing this paint to dry, I'm going to clean all of my crafting materials so my paint doesn't set up on those items. Once again, everything is clean, and I'm going to use that same procedure as I continue to stamp and decorate my board. Oh my gosh, that is so cute. So now I'm going to go off camera and I'm going to add some of these, like the little trees and the snowflakes, just little things to add some interest around the outside of my sign. I really like how my little cocoa bar sign turned out. I think it is just adorable. And then with my little mason jars here, I took a bunch of cute little scrapbooking paper, cut out circles, and put that inside of the lid here. And then I put things that I think taste really good on top of cocoa. So this one has some mini marshmallows in there. This one has some tasty little chocolate chips. And then for this one, I took just some regular Starlight mints, just put them in a Ziploc bag and crushed them with the back of a spoon. And then that looks really cute, and it smells heavenly as well. And I also think that if you had a basket, this would be really cute as a hostess gift as well. Well, now all I need to do is give you a closer look at how cute all of this week's projects turned out. Thank you so much for joining me today. It has been my pleasure to craft with you. And from my family to yours, I want to wish you a very Merry Christmas and a joyous holiday season. Please remember to subscribe for more kinda shabby but always chic crafty inspirations. And until next time, my sweet friends, be blessed.